Hey everybody, good morning. It is Monday morning. It's June 1st, and that means that it's the first day of the challenge. This challenge is, my hubby and I are trying to get 10 fruits and veggies in every day during the month of June. And we invited you all to come on this challenge with us, and many of you decided to come, and we're so grateful and so excited about it. I think it's going to be kind of a fun month in that respect. So there were a couple of questions that came up, or comments. One of them was that some of you are not going to be shooting for the 10, but you're going to be bringing the number down lower, and that's okay as long as you're trying to get more fruits and veggies. I think that's all good. But you know your body, some people can only handle so much fiber, some people can only handle so much food, some people can only handle so many greens because of maybe kidney problems or things like that. So definitely you always want to keep your doctor in the loop of what you're doing, and go about this in accordance to what your body needs. We're not any sort of dietitians or anything like that. So we're not giving medical advice in any way, but this is something that we're doing, a challenge. It's going to work for us, and we're inviting you to come along if it works for you. That being said, there were a few questions, right, about serving sizes that seem to be keep coming up, and that was an issue, and that we just kind of wanted to talk about that really quick. I just wanted to talk about that really quick. And so I was spending all weekend looking at all these different charts going, okay, how can we do this? How is it going to be most helpful? If we do a video that just shows everybody how much is a cup of strawberries, how much is a cup of celery, how much is a serving of all of these different foods. And I decided against that because I thought, number one, I don't have all of those foods. Number two, it would not be an all-inclusive list. And number three, you don't really need to do that. There's actually some really kind of like baseline things to follow as far as serving sizes goes. There's just like really simple guidelines with a few exceptions, and so I kind of wanted to just go over those simple guidelines plus those few exceptions so that you can kind of maneuver through easier through this month on the serving sizes. And I'm hoping this is going to be helpful. I wanted to put this out the first day, sometime today, in case it's helpful. Leafy greens like salad and, kale and things like that. Those things are going to be 2 cups per serving, right? But that being said, I don't want you to be, unless it's detrimental to your health in some way, like your kidneys. I think that if you have spillover on your veggies, I would be more concerned about not getting enough to make a serving rather than if you have spillover. If you have spillover, if you have like 2.5 cups of greens, I mean, who cares, right? It's like you're probably going to use more energy digesting it than you are to keep that stuff. Even though you're going to retain the vitamins, you're not going to put on fat because you ate 2.5 cups of spinach. So it's kind of like negligible, almost calories. So I wouldn't worry about that on the veggies. I would be probably more concerned with fruit because of the fructose. If we're trying to lose weight, I would try to lean more toward more veggies and less fruit, but that's myself. You know your body, you know how much exercise you do, and you might need more fruit. So you do what works for you. Okay, let's talk about across the board, most vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, celery, carrots. I mean, you talk about most vegetables come out to be 1 cup per serving, right? Which is pretty easy to remember. Now, that being said, most fruits did as well, but let's talk about the veggies right now. There were a few different exceptions, and so one of those exceptions was bell peppers, which actually is a fruit, so that makes sense. It's sweeter. Bell peppers are 1/2 of a cup per serving. And so I don't want to get into, one medium versus one large about that much, because it's just much easier to go by cup sizes and to remember that, because you might be, cutting them up, dicing them up, whatever. It's just easier to gauge them this way. Another good rule of thumb to remember is that usually if you make a fist, that's about the size of 1 cup. So if you don't cut the vegetable up and you look at your fist, you can kind of like gauge the size of what you're having based on that. Okay, so let's also talk about vegetable juice. Sometimes people say, you know what, I could have had a V8 and that would have gotten me so many vegetables and fruits, right? Well, remember that maybe to go for the small V8 because 1/2 of a cup of juice is a serving, right? Of vegetable juice. Let's talk about beans. Beans is 1/2 cup cooked of beans is a serving. And corn, which is technically a fruit and a grain, but we're going to put it in the vegetable aisle right here, is 1/2 cup. And that's corn. Avocados, we all know avocados. You can't just sit down and eat a whole avocado without a bunch of points if you're on Weight Watchers. 1/3 of an avocado is considered a serving. I would count my daily healthy fats from that avocado. Okay, fruits. Let's talk about fruits real quick. Pretty much across the board, a fistful or a cup, same thing, of fruit is a serving. 1/2 of a cup of fruit juice is a serving, just like the vegetable juice. But I thought what was interesting is that 1/3 cup of a fruit juice blend is a serving. This is like the USDA and the American Heart Association that I got most of this info from. Grapefruits. If you are looking for a grapefruit as a serving, 1 whole grapefruit is a serving. And 1 large orange is a serving, 1/2 of a large apple, or a small, see, I don't really want to get into that because it could get kind of hairy, or 1 cup. So let's just say 1 cup of an orange or 1 cup of an apple, right? 1 cup of a banana is a serving. 1 cup of berries, 1 cup of melon. Dried fruit is something else. That is 1/2 of a cup, or if you're going by raisins, 1 small box of raisins. Right, is a serving, and that's a pretty small box. Potatoes, I think I mentioned that before, being a vegetable. We're talking 1 cup or like 3 ounces, which is like a medium potato, right? Onions, I don't know who has like 3/4 of a large onion, but 3/4 of an onion is a serving, right? And so that's pretty much it. I mean, so it's pretty simple. There's just a few exceptions to think about, and along the way there's probably going to be more exceptions that we can talk about. Share. So I have made a smoothie this morning for breakfast. I had to go see the dentist, and my morning was one of those flyby mornings where everybody's just like flying by the seat of their pants. And it was the first day, and so I made hubby and I a smoothie. And so each one of our smoothies, which I'm still working on right now, has like 8, 7, I think there's 7, but there were 8 fruits and veggies in his. And what I ended up doing was I used like 4 cups of spinach. I used frozen banana. I had frozen berries, and I also had a mix, which I will show you in the next video. I think it's freeze-dried fruits and vegetables, and they're packets that come in. And I actually ordered them for like long-term storage, in case I needed fruits and veggies in the future and didn't have any stored elsewhere. And I used a packet, and it has, oh my goodness, so many great things in it. But it has all of the fiber and nothing but the fruits and veggies, so there's no additives or anything like that. And I just added that packet in here. So I ended up having like a whole bunch of fruits and veggies in there this morning. But I would prefer to do this using whole foods. That's my first choice. But if I get into a pinch and have to use like a freeze-dried version from time to time, I'm going to be okay with that. But that's not what I want to base it on. I don't think that that's sustainable long term for many people. And I don't see the point in just getting on here and challenging you guys and just having smoothies in front of you all the time. I want to be able to show you other ways to incorporate that. Incorporate fruits and veggies into your day. So anyway, so if you have any other questions, we're going to go forward with this. And tomorrow you'll see everything that I had today, and so on and so on. So I'll let you know with plenty of time before we do a live, and we can talk about, you know, some of the hurdles we're going over and some of the good findings that we're having. So, okay, guys, I'm going to let you go. Have a wonderful month of June, and remember to get those fruits and veggies in today. It can seem like a task, but you can do it. I know you're very creative and inventive, and you can come up with some really great ways of getting more. I love you guys a lot, and I will see you in the next video.